Good evening, my Between the Liners. Welcome back to the show. Erik ten Hag's Man United have just won 1-0 v West Ham at Old Trafford. Marcus Rashford with an almost CR7-like powerful header to beat West Ham, to make it 8 games unbeaten since we lost against City, and technically we won the second half anyway. 8 games unbeaten. We've only conceded 3 goals in the last 8 games. Clean sheet again, delighted. Even Maguire managed to get a clean sheet, delighted for him. Look, let's get into the game. Just quickly, shout out Marcus Rashford as well. His 100th goal for Manchester United at the age of 24. He's turning 25 tomorrow. Happy birthday to Marcus Rashford. He scored it in about 316 games, I think I saw the appearances was. 1 in 3 goals, playing mostly on the left wing, sometimes on the right wing, in a dysfunctional Manchester United team for a lot of his career. 100 goals. Congratulations, Marcus Rashford. MBE as well. Put some respect on his name. Let's get into the positives of the game. And look, it ended very, very nervy in the end, I'm not going to lie. But straight into the positives. Since Ten Hag's come in, or especially since after the first 2 games of the season, our never say die attitude, our fighting till the very last second attitude has come through again. We've managed to hold out in the end and get the 3 points. Look, last year we probably would have drawn this game. We've managed to hold on, take the 3 points. De Gea coming up with some amazing saves as well. Speaking on De Gea, even throughout the game, coming off his line once again, distribution a lot better once again. Shout out De Gea, this kind of new and improved De Gea, trying to become this progressive keeper. Shout out De Gea, saved us as well. Like, as he has done throughout most of his United career, his shot stopping has never been in question, and he's come through at the end. Especially that Zuma save, amazing save. Like most keepers in the Prem, especially like guys like Lloris or Ramsdale, that goal is going in from Zuma. Thank you, De Gea. Done your part. Look, shout out Martinez as well. I thought in general was probably one of his worst games on the ball. He gave it away a few times, especially in the first half. But other than that, defensively, a tank. Gives his all every single time. Shaw on the ball, I thought was very impressive. Probably the best defender we have on the ball. Obviously, depends with Martinez on form. But Shaw, in terms of attacking wise, very impressive in attack. I thought Diego Dalot, what a performance. I heard Gary Neville gave the man of the match to Marcus Rashford, and he was deciding between Rashford or Martinez. But for me, Diego Dalot defensively was sensational today. Even in the first half, attacking wise, very good on the ball. Second half, we didn't really see much of him in terms of attacking, but defensively, very good. Just some slight question marks. The ball got behind him a few times where Maguire was meant to be covering him, and Benrahma managed to get a bit of space down the right. But overall, Dalot, some of his headers, some of his last-ditch tackle was sensational today. Shout out Dalot, completely revitalised his career at Manchester United. Very impressed with him again. Casemiro, what can I say, man? Just boss the midfield. Not really had the same amount of impact in this game as he has done in the previous games, like the Newcastle and Everton game and the Spurs game and the Chelsea game, but still very solid in terms of defensive mid. He's just so smart. He knows when to dive in and when to hold back. Knows when to pass it short, when to pass it long. Almost got a goal from one of his passes because Casemiro went out long to Eriksen. Sorry, to Dalot. Dalot whipped it in. Rashford probably should have got a shot on target early on. Casemiro, phenomenal. Bruno and Eriksen wasn't really their best games today, I thought. I don't know what you guys think. Elanga, look, we all know he's not got the best ability on the ball, but at least he puts in a shift. I saw him he had good defensive work rate in the first half. I'll give him that. Maybe might have done more than Sancho would have done. The only problem is every time the ball comes to Elanga, the ball moves 5 yards away from his first touch straight away. And it's just very easy to tackle him, so he doesn't really hold on to the ball for too long. But at least he puts in a shift, so something. Still very, very much question marks over one of our wing slots, because it's either Sancho or Elanga or Rashford. But obviously Rashford's really cementing his place right now in the team. I'm going to get to Rashford in a bit. Ronaldo, I think he had good work rate, good enthusiasm, especially in the first half. problem is, doesn't really provide much other than that to this team, which is a shame. I'm just glad to see him get a start for his own confidence and for his like personal ego. Looked a bit happier out there on the pitch today. Obviously disappointing not to get a goal. We'll take on to the star man in terms of the attack today, Marcus Rashford. You know that goal, yeah? This is something we've not really seen from Rashford. That desire to win the ball and power past the defender and get the header. Look, it weren't even the best header really because it was down the middle, but he had so much power and he was so close to the goal, had so much desire. It was like if anyone wins in goal in that moment, that ball was going in. Shout out Marcus Rashford, MBE. Look, he's getting back to his best form that he was in that lockdown season with Ollie, in his best season that he had at the club. And this is all without Martial. People always say that he plays better with Martial. The guy is just playing better with or without Martial. It doesn't matter. The desire in Marcus Rashford is what we all was missing from last season especially. I'm glad to see him finally getting into top form. And hopefully he continues it. Look, 100 goals for Man United is no easy feat. He has to be shown big respect for that. Look, that's individually on the players, that's on positives. Overall in the team, I love the way we fought till the end. We could have easily dropped some points. We won the game. Anytime we've gone ahead in the Premier League this season, we've never dropped a single point from any winning position. That's great momentum to have. Great fighting spirit from the team again. Other than that, there's one more positive I noticed as well, and this was very apparent in this game. In the years gone by under previous managers, especially since post-Fergie, we've always been more dominant down the left, and that's the way we've attacked throughout most of post-Fergie era, yeah? Today shows clear signs that we're not afraid to attack down the right anymore. Dalot bombs up down the right, we've got more options. Bruno comes out to the right a bit, we've got options. Eriksen came down to the right for the goal, got an assist from that right-hand side after a throw from Dalot. And finally, we're creating chances from the right-hand side, so we're not so one-dimensional that teams know just to focus on our left side and just defend on our left side, because that's where we used to be so dangerous, especially with Rashford and Shaw. Now we've actually got options on the right, spreads out the opposition a bit more, and they don't know how to contain us. Look, West Ham... Look, Alex is going on about how West Ham on another day could have won this 3-1. I really don't see how. I didn't really see any threat from West Ham other than near the end where they lumped it into the box a bit. Benrahma had a few attacking runs against Dalot or in behind Dalot up against Maguire, but his end product was poor. Skamaka didn't really do nothing. Martinez handled him the whole game. West Ham's only threat was basically from set pieces. And you can't come to Old Trafford and rely... Well, you can potentially in a different era, but now we've got Ten Hag. It's very unlikely you can come to Old Trafford and just rely on set pieces. But fair play to West Ham as well. They didn't really sit back as much as I thought they would. So they tried to get onto us a little, gave us a good game. Was a good fighting game for 90 minutes from both sides. We'll take it on to things that United, I think, need to improve, or negatives from the game, whatever way you want to look at it. And look, I didn't mention Maguire in the positive section, but I'll mention him now briefly. In the second half, he did put in quite a few last-ditch headers and did manage to get his fat head on the ball and managed to clear it out, which was good. It was good. The problem with Maguire is, and I noticed this from the first 10 minutes, every time he's on the ball, every single other person gets nervous around him. I've never actually seen Martinez give the ball away this many times from his defence, especially in that first half, compared to when I did today. For some reason, his teammates just all get nervous around him. The fans get nervous. Just the opponents look like they thrive on it anytime Maguire's on the ball. It's just not the best look at all. Concerns, man. If Varane's not in that team, concerns. And I wouldn't say that Maguire cemented my confidence in him to start ahead of Lindelof in the next game if Lindelof is fit. He just dives in a lot, too much as well. Even he looks nervous, to be honest. He doesn't even look his confident self. But give him some credit in the second half. I think he did make up for it a little. He did put in some last-ditch headers. As I mentioned about Dalot as well, I thought Dalot was immense defensively, especially with his headers and crosses into the box and reading of the game. Look, go back to the negatives. Maguire just doesn't fill anyone with confidence, to be honest. Other than that, I'm not so sure. Ten Hag's done this a couple times now. When we bring on McTominay or Fred or both at the same time in the game, I feel like teams sense a bit of fear in us. And obviously, if you're taking off people like Eriksen or if Bruno came off another time, we're not going to hold on to the ball as well as we would if these guys were on the pitch compared to when Fred and McTominay on the ball, because we give it away more, or we panic more when those guys are on the bench, especially in those last 10 minutes of that game where we should have tried controlling the ball. Anytime Fred got the ball, he's hoofing it forward majority of the time. Even Ronaldo, to an extent, every time he got the ball, you'd think he'd have a bit of composure. He kept hoofing it up there. In those last 10 minutes, when West Ham are piling on the pressure onto you, you should be holding onto the ball a lot better. And that's one thing we definitely need to improve on, because a better team, a better quality of position would definitely punish us in those situations, especially if we don't hold onto the ball. We need to be a bit smarter. This is something that Newcastle did. Their game management, when we played them at Old Trafford and it was 0-0, their game management was second to none. Like the best way to kill out of the game. And if we're not going to go for the second goal and we're going to invite pressure on and bring on McTominay and Fred, we need to keep the ball a lot better. That's something we need to worry about. Another negative would be that I just think it's funny, because I was praising the right-hand side in the positive section. I'm going to come to the left-hand side now. One negativity about the left-hand side is, other than Shaw, because obviously he's left-footed, when we get to the left-hand side and win a good crossing opportunity, every single one of our players looks to cut in on his right foot, or if he tries a left-footed cross, it's just poor. And it's just too obvious. Where's like the creativity, or even from Rashford or Bruno or Ericsson? It's just, we can capitalise on the team. There's that 1-2 yards of extra space when we're down the left. We've created an opening, we can whip it in, but every single time we cut inside and try to do a right-footed cross. Just, you're professional footballers. Take advantage of that little space that you've created, put the ball in and see what happens. You put the ball into the mixer, you never know what can happen. Deflection, a missed time challenge, anything, something can happen. Other negative would be that our desperation to find Ronaldo is becoming a serious problem now. Look, Ronaldo's a GOAT. I love Ronaldo. Everyone knows that. But to keep trying to find him in awkward positions or in bad angles and trying to find him and force it to him, it's just not working. And we're giving the ball away more and more because we keep trying to do that. And there's certain times players could shoot, but instead they're trying to find Ronaldo. I'm not sure. It's just, it harms the chemistry of the team when he's playing. It's so weird. But there's no other better options, because who else do we play instead if Ronaldo doesn't play? Do we bring Sancho on the left and then stick Marcus up front? And then what, Sancho and Elanga on the wings? Then are we creating enough? Probably not. Rashford is easily our most direct and impactful player right now in terms of attack, so he has to be there one way or another. And I think Rashford's probably best out on the left right now. So therefore, Cristiano has to start up front, but obviously he's not listening to instructions, I feel like, because surely Ten Hag must be telling him, just stick to the last man in the box, you're our focal point. But he drops too deep because he's too desperate to get in the ball, too desperate to shoot from long range just to get some space and have a shot, because you can see he's frustrated and he just wants to be on a score sheet. But his selfishness, Ronaldo, is causing disarray amongst the team right now, I feel like. We're just missing that final piece of the puzzle up front at the moment, because the rest of the team seems like it's settling really well. Other than that, negatives on the game, I feel like when one bad thing goes wrong in the game, our heads start to drop and we start giving the ball away a lot and we start panicking a lot. Obviously, the opposite of that you could say is, this time last year we probably would have dropped points here, and at least we haven't. We're unbeaten in 8, but still you'd like a bit more of a convincing win. West Ham are no mugs, obviously, they're a good team. 1-0, probably fair result, but just we need to try and go for that second goal and kill the game off, because better teams, better attacks will probably punish us and we'll end up dropping points. But for now, it's resolute, it's good defending. I just wish we had a bit more control and stop dropping our heads. I just think we're still so very nervous from last season, and like we've all got PTSD. Those last 10 minutes were so nerve-wracking. I was biting my nails. I ain't bit my nails in a long time, but my nail was bitten. I was getting nervous, and I knew Alex was going to start chatting crud if West Ham got a point. Anyway, other than that, we'll take it on to the conclusion. It's a good 3 points, a solid game, a great fight to the end. Shout out Dalot, my man of the match. West Ham didn't really think they were that amazing, in my opinion. Didn't really feel threatened, although they did put the pressure on us. And obviously De Gea made the same for the Zuma header and the Declan Rice late shot. For 75 minutes of the game or 60 minutes of the game, I did feel pretty comfortable, and that's a big credit to Erik Ten Hag. he's given us this confidence and given us the team confidence to be able to fight to the end, especially with guys like Martinez and Casemiro in the team. It's infectious at the moment. Our fighting spirit, our desire, exemplified by Marcus Rashford's header. So I'm delighted about that. Our next game is Real Sociedad on a Thursday. So I'm hoping... I think we need to win by two goals at least. I think if we win 2-1 or 2-0 against Sociedad, then we top the group and avoid like the playoff stage in the next round of Europa League. So that would be great. We haven't got the greatest record in Spain. I don't think a lot of English teams do, to be honest. So that's going to be tough either way, even though it's only Sociedad. They beat us 1-0 at Old Trafford as well already this season, so we need to be careful of that. In the Premier League, we've got Unai Emery's new Aston Villa side. So, look, that's probably going to be another tight game like this. One more thing to notice, or one more thing to mention as well, you've seen us turn up against Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham. But then against like the lesser sides, without disrespecting them because they're still good sides, there's no easy teams in the Premier League really, other than maybe Nottingham Forest right now, who even beat Liverpool. Liverpool, shout out Liverpool, by the way. You're having a great season. So yeah, we've got Villa next, and I think it's going to be pretty tense. Just like this game where we're struggling a little to raise the levels to match against the teams that we're playing. Or we tend to raise it against the teams that we're playing compared to like... So... this West Ham game and the Newcastle game, for example, and the Everton game, we didn't really play the levels that we could have, like we did against the Chelseas, Tottenhams, Arsenals, Liverpools. So still something to be worried about slightly. But look, unbeaten in 8, Eric Ten Hag's Man United. I'm loving the fighting spirit. I'm loving the chemistry between the boys. There's just a few more little pieces of puzzle left to click, like the striking position and maybe creating more chances and the level of intensity against the lesser teams compared to the top 6 or whatever. If we can fix that, then look, we're within a great chance. I'm not going to be too optimistic, but we're within a great chance of finishing in the top 4 spot, which I'm sure would have been Ten Hag's minimum expectations this season. And a lot of people didn't expect us to be within a shout of getting top 4. So great credit to Ten Hag. Great credit to the signings like Casemiro, Anthony, Martinez, obviously, and Eriksen as well. We're managing to turn things around slowly. This is a great start. It was a very tough game v West Ham, but a big performance from the boys. Very proud of the team so far. A 1-0 win v Manchester United. My friend Alex is saying that United have bought the refs and they should have got penalties or whatever. Mate, where are West Ham this season, by the way? Are they like 17th or something? I don't even remember them winning the game. And by the way, who the hell is Flynn Downs? I ain't never heard of that guy in my life. I saw him in the starting lineup. I saw him play for the first 10 minutes, and then I genuinely didn't see him touch the ball a single time for the rest of the 80 minutes. Some fake James Maddison. Anyway, this is the Between the Lines podcast. Thanks for the views recently in all the latest videos and the shorts. Views going crazy. Check out the TikToks and the Instas. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Share the video. Let me know in the comments who you thought man of the match was, because personally, I'm going Diego Dalot. Rashford was great as well. Rashford's improvement again this season is inspiring me completely. Marcus Rashford, MBE, Eric Ten Hag's Manchester United. See you guys in the next one. Peace out. Between the lines.